Ed and Mike Brewer had great chemistry. The format worked. The show was doing well around the world. So what happened behind the scenes that made Ed walk away from something he helped build from scratch? The answer, as Ed finally confirmed years later, is deeper than most expected. It wasn't about money or fame. It was about values, honesty, and the heart of the show itself. Wheeler Dealers started in 2003. It was a simple British car show featuring two very different yet perfectly matched personalities. Mike Brewer was the energetic Wheeler who found used cars for cheap. Ed China was the calm, smart dealer who worked on the cars, fixing them and explaining each step in detail. Together, they brought old, broken-down cars back to life. And they did it in a modest little workshop with squeaky floors, old tools, and no flashy edits. What made the show different from others was its honesty. They didn't cut corners, and they didn't rely on drama or fake moments to keep people watching. Instead, they focused on real work, tightening bolts, fixing engines, replacing parts, and explaining why each step mattered. Viewers weren't just entertained, they were educated. That's what made the show stand out. In the early seasons, the crew was small. It was just Mike, Ed, a cameraman, a sound guy, and a few producers. There was no big budget or huge studio. But over time, the show gained more and more fans. It aired in over 200 countries and became one of the most popular car shows in the world. But with success came changes. Bigger audiences meant more expectations. Networks started paying attention, and they wanted more control over how the show was made. At first, the changes were small. The episodes were edited more tightly. Some repairs that used to be shown in full were now skipped or sped up. Ed's detailed explanations, which were the heart of the show, started getting shorter. As the show grew, it reached American audiences. The U.S. networks, especially Discovery and its Velocity channel, saw Wheeler Dealers as more than just a show. They saw it as a brand that could make a lot of money. But to them, a good brand needed to be fast, flashy, and polished. They didn't think long repair scenes would keep people watching. Instead of focusing on the mechanical side, they wanted quicker scenes and more entertaining moments. Ed didn't agree with this direction. For him, the workshop segments were the most important part of the show. He believed in teaching people the real process of fixing cars, not just the before and after shots. But the pressure kept growing behind the scenes, and Ed started pushing back. He didn't want to cut corners. He didn't want to reduce the repairs to quick montages. He wanted to stay true to the show's original style. But the network didn't see it that way. They wanted more episodes in less time. They wanted to fit the show into different time slots around the world. This meant cutting down the very things that made Wheeler Dealers special. Ed was now being told to simplify his segments, shorten his time on camera, and make room for a more commercial style of TV. That's when he realized the show was changing into something he didn't believe in anymore. The breaking point came when Discovery decided to move the production of Wheeler Dealers from the UK to the United States. Instead of being made by the original British production team, Attaboy TV, the show would now be handled by Discovery's own studios in California. This change wasn't just about geography, it was about control. Discovery wanted to modernize the format and make the show more appealing to a global, especially American, audience. Ed was told that his detailed repair scenes were too long and too hard to produce. They wanted him to shorten the repairs, simplify the explanations, and skip the technical depth that fans loved. In plain terms, less education, more entertainment. Ed had a choice to make. He could stay on the show and follow the new rules, or he could leave. He thought long and hard about it. He knew he could continue and collect a paycheck, but that would mean doing a job that didn't feel right anymore. He would be bodging it, as he put it, a term used by mechanics to describe doing a lazy, incomplete repair. That wasn't who Ed China was. He believed in doing things properly, even if it took longer. So in March 2017, he posted a simple video on YouTube announcing his departure. He didn't blame anyone. He didn't complain. He just told the truth in his usual calm, thoughtful way. And fans were heartbroken. The reaction was massive. Within days, the video had millions of views. Fans left thousands of comments, many of them angry or confused. People wanted to know more. Why had it come to this? Some blamed Mike Brewer, thinking he had sided with the network. Mike was hurt by the reaction. He said he had no control over the production decisions and was just as upset about Ed's departure. Ed even released another message asking fans not to blame Mike. He said it was a business decision, not a personal one. But even with that, the damage was done. The friendship between Ed and Mike, whether it ended on good or bad terms, was never the same again. That's the kind of impact he had. He wasn't just a presenter, he was the heart of Wheeler Dealers. For 8 years, Ed stayed mostly quiet about the full story. He focused on new projects, including his YouTube series Workshop Diaries, where he returned to doing what he loved, repairing cars slowly, properly, and explaining every step along the way. He didn't have a big production team or flashy graphics, just a camera, some tools, and his honest way of teaching. Fans loved it. Even though it didn't get millions of views like Wheeler Dealers, it was pure Ed China. And that's all his audience wanted. In a recent podcast, Ed finally opened up more honestly than ever before. He said he didn't want to leave the show. He still loved it. But he hated the version of himself that the show was turning him into. He didn't recognize the person who had to cut corners and rush repairs just to meet a deadline. It made him feel like he was cheating the audience, and himself. That's when he realized he couldn't keep doing it. He had to walk away to protect the part of the show that mattered most to him, integrity. Ed's full explanation confirmed what many fans had suspected all along. It wasn't about drama, fights, or even money. It was about staying true to what Wheeler Dealers used to be, a show that valued hard work, detailed education, and honest repairs. For Ed China, cutting down those segments meant cutting out the soul of the show. And he wasn't willing to be part of that. His decision wasn't easy. Walking away from a global success is hard. But sometimes holding on to your principles is more important than staying on television. After leaving, Ed didn't just disappear. He kept working on cars, developing inventions, and creating content for people who still cared about learning. In Workshop Diaries, he went back to basics. The episodes are long and slow by modern standards, but that's the point. They take time to show every nut, bolt, and reason behind the repair. That's what viewers loved him for in the first place. He also used the platform to explore electric vehicles and sustainable engineering, always looking for ways to combine innovation with responsibility. Meanwhile, Wheeler Dealers kept moving. Mike Brewer continued hosting. The format changed, the visuals improved, and the brand remained strong. But for many fans, the heart of the show had been lost. They kept watching, but it didn't feel the same. Every new episode was compared to the old ones. People remembered the quiet charm of Ed's voice, the patience in his explanations, and the way he made even the most complex repairs seem simple. That feeling couldn't be replaced, no matter how good the new co-hosts were. Ed's story became more than just a story about leaving a TV show. It became a lesson in standing up for what you believe in. In today's world, where speed and profit often matter more than quality and honesty, Ed China chose a different path. He reminded people that it's okay to walk away when something no longer fits your values. That doing the right thing is sometimes harder, but always more rewarding in the end. Now, years after he left, fans still talk about Ed China. They still watch his videos. They still share clips from the old episodes of Wheeler Dealers where he taught them how to fix a car with care and pride. And now that he has finally spoken out and shared the full story, they understand even more. They understand that he didn't leave because he wanted to. He left because he had to. Because he knew that once you start cutting corners, you lose what made you special in the first place. So did Ed China make the right choice? Many fans believe he did. He stayed true to himself and the audience. He kept his dignity. And he reminded us all that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. Ed China's lasting legacy, the mechanic who taught a generation. What made Ed China so unforgettable wasn't just the way he fixed cars, it was the way he made people feel while watching him do it. For many fans around the world, Wheeler Dealers wasn't just a car show. It was a classroom, a source of comfort, and a place of inspiration. Ed didn't just change spark plugs or weld panels. He made people believe they could too. Whether you were a trained mechanic or someone who had never opened a car hood before, Ed spoke to you like a friend. He explained things slowly, clearly, and with a quiet enthusiasm that made you feel smarter after every episode. This teaching style is rare on television. Most shows today focus on fast-paced edits, dramatic music, and flashy results. But Ed China brought something old-fashioned: patience, detail, and honesty. You never felt like he was rushing or showing off. Instead, it was like sitting in a cozy garage with a mentor who truly wanted you to learn.